chords of the moment. It's the chords of the moment. It's the 4 chords of the moment. Every generation has chords of the moment.
So, okay, so what's going on here? Are they all copying the same melody? Might just be a coincidence.
I've always been told one day I'll find somebody who changes my mind.
All right, I get the point, but you know, it's only pop music. It's not even like real music.
Oh shit! What the fuck? It's everywhere! Oh no! You can't escape this.
But you know, they're all in English. All those songs, they're all in English.
Ah! What? It keeps going.
Okay, that's weird, but you know, it's only countries from Western culture.
Oh my god. Well, guys. It's the chords of the season,
When you get into
bro.
music theory, you start to see this a lot with all kinds of music.
Exactly.
Aware.
Yeah, man. This is why I always hated music theory, because, like, when you study music theory, like, all the magic and mystery of music, like, I don't know, I just felt all the magic and mystery leave.
I've named this melody the Gen Alpha melody, referring to the time period most of these songs were released. But why is this interesting? The world of music is built upon inspiration and melodic and harmonic norms, so being inspired is inevitable. This is seen throughout history in chord progressions such as the 1-4-5s of blues or the 2-5-1s of jazz, or the axis of awesome progression in pop music. It's also seen in different production techniques such as the use of sampling, jazz and soul and hip-hop, or the heavy use of chorus.
I bet you didn't know that was sampled, huh?
Things cliches because our ideas inspire each other. But the Gen Alpha melody is different, and that's because it's a fully fledged melody being copied. This means it's a very specific melody, and a melody that could have easily been a victim of copyright. What makes this so interesting is that I've never seen a specific melody come even close to being as used in popular music. The only ones I can think of are melody writing techniques such as one-note melodies like the supertonic melody, which Andrew Hall made a video on, or like the triplet flow of trap music. But the Gen Alpha melody is a bit too specific. A hypothetical comparison would be if the riff for the melody to Seven Nation Army was copied 100 times and no royalties were being paid to the White Stripes. But what makes this melody so specific? Here's how it works. Alright, so the melody is made up of 4 notes split into 2 phrases. It starts on the 4th degree and is then followed by the note a tritone below, which is the 7th. Next up is the second phrase, which begins on the 3rd. And then jumps down a 5th to the 6th degree. If that didn't make sense, I was just naming the different degrees of the major scale as opposed to just the names of the keys, because the melody isn't always in C major and the notes are...
This guy is legit. His Shure microphone has a dent in it. Quality stamp in my book.
Also,
you always know when they're really the real deal, when they have a Shure mic with a fucking dent in it.
Not all melodies, including that specific series of tones, are the Gen Alpha melody. For example, last year I tried going viral by jumping on the trend with this composition, but it didn't really work out.
Oh shit! I'm sorry it didn't work out, bro.
What constitutes the Gen Alpha melody is therefore that these 4 notes are the pillars of the melody. which means all other tones revolve around these because they're landing on strong beats or the melodic phrase ends on them.
Oh shit. And it's always in that order, bro.
The reason I think this is such a widely copied melody is because it's a prime example of a good melody. And good melody is obviously subjective when talking music, but at least in traditional terms. Melodies in classical music are built up by questions and
Basic
answers.
Zoomer
It might
music,
seem a bit weird to
no!
call a melody a question, but I never really
This is
asked for your
music
opinion to
theory.
that. Another way to phrase it is as dissonance and consonance, which is basically what all music is built up on. You can hear the first phrase as setting up to something, but you can't really just end a phrase there.
You have to add to it.
And to that question, we get an answer, but it's sort of inconclusive.
Huh?
It's not really, the answer you wanted. So it's followed by another question.
And then one more
And then you
answer.
finally get the answer you wanted. It feels consonant, or it's a nice feeling ending on this tone. There are obviously some small deviations with the different examples, but all the melodies all share this characteristic framework. Those four pillars.
Oh yeah,
In
caught in the
conclusion,
bad
it's a great sounding melody by itself and has this bittersweet quality, which also makes sense given that heartbreak.
Zero music, no!
Themes in all of music. Like nearly all of the uses of Gen Alpha melody have lyrics that are about heartbreak or melancholia in some shape or form. All the examples I've shown follow this formula.
Oh my God,
with
Gaga's
four
Patient
pillars,
Zero.
but there are hundreds more examples out there. Here are a few more.
Well, what do you think, guys? Wow.
When finding these examples, I stumbled upon hundreds of examples of songs that sounded alike from different users on YouTube, Reddit, or TikTok. And some come close, but not quite to being the exact melody. And that's because they only contained at least two of the aforementioned pillars of the Gen Alpha melody. For example, I've seen Lady Gaga mentioned several times
Yes.
on posts on this subject. You probably recognize this melody.
No
The difference
laugh.
here is that the last pillar ends on the third instead of the sixth, which means it only has 3 pillars instead
You're
of
so
4.
proud. I'm
Here's
proud
some
of
other
you
examples
too
of
for
outliers of the
recognizing
Gen
that.
Alpha melody.
I've been thinking about it lately. Does it ever drive you crazy?
Help!
Just how fast the night changes.
Oh shit, him too.
Like a white Mercedes,
No, not Charlie XCX!
moving too fast. I don't need honesty, baby. I like it.
Oh my God, Rosalia también.
Most of these definitely have the same vibe and sort of the same structure, but I wouldn't categorize them as using the Gen Alpha melody. It's just sort of the same vibe. There are many examples of this, but here are a few
It's
more.
everywhere. It's everywhere. Now that you know, you're gonna hear it everywhere. Now that you know, you're gonna hear it everywhere now.
Alright, so I want to make it very clear that this is in no way an attempt to bash any of these artists or to claim lack of originality of any of these songs. All of them have these different features that make them original other than the melody, whether that being the harmony, lyrics,
I can't wait to make
groove,
my
or
Gen
production.
Alpha melody
But again,
song.
this doesn't really seem like a coincidence, so it still begs the question. Lawsuits in music are always a popular topic because nobody wants to see anybody take credit for somebody else's work. And on the flip
That's
side,
a
nobody
pig
wants to
song!
see somebody get wrongly accused of stealing when they aren't. In broad terms, the way it works is that if you make a song with a melody from another song or very similar to another song and get sued, a court decides whether or not you have to give songwriting credit to the original
And they sued
songwriters,
Peppa Pig.
which is a cut that varies. The metrics which the verdict is based upon can, for example, be the aforementioned pillars of the Gen Alpha melody. Some popular examples of songs that had to pay the original songwriters for copying include Stay With Me by Sam Smith and I Won't Back Down by John Petty.
Back down. No, I won't back
Creep by Radiohead.
Oh shit, Creep?
Couldn't look you in the eye.
And The Air That I Breathe by The Hollies.
I did not know that.
My
Oh,
Sweet
I
Lord
hear
by
it. What the
George
fuck?
Harrison.
Oh shit,
Hollies.
that's crazy.
Couldn't look you in the eye.
And The Air That I Breathe by The Hollies. My Sweet Lord by
That's
George
crazy.
Harrison. And He's So Fine by The Chiffons. But even though Radiohead, Sam Smith, and George Harrison had to give songwriting credits to the original songwriters, I don't think those examples come anywhere near to
Yeah,
being
you can't
as similar
copyright a
as the
chord
hundreds of
progression.
uses of the Gen Alpha
That is
melody.
true.
And that's because the Gen Alpha melody is a case of what's called interpolation. An
Interpolation.
interpolation involves taking part of an existing musical work as opposed to a sound recording and incorporating it into a new work. This means it's not sampling, but rather
Some
a
have
copy
tried.
of the melody. Some artists do this consciously, like Ride Round by Flowrider, being an interpolation of You Spin Me Round by Dead or Alive,
Oh,
or Seven
shit.
Rings by Ariana Grande, being an interpolation of My Favorite Things from Sound of Music. This is what a lot of EDM artists do, because they know the popularity and recognition of the melody will make it easily
How is
digestible,
DJ?
which is great solely from a financial standpoint, because it'll get more streams, and the cut you have to give to the songwriters is made up for by the recognition, and therefore more streams than if it had another melody. Some also do this subconsciously, meaning they probably weren't aware that they were stealing. Artists like Ed Sheeran and Oasis have been accused of this several times. Either way, they have to pay a huge cut to the original songwriters if the songs are not in the public domain. A counter-argument to plagiarism in music is that there are only 7 notes to choose from. But that argument falls short because there are endless possibilities when it comes to even the major scale and a 4-bar phrase. Look up pandiatonicism, for example. In pop
We're
music,
learning
what
so much
happens
today.
is that once you're confined to having it sound easily listenable, it narrows the options down significantly, since common chord progressions and pop formulas are the norm. This is why I don't think most of the songwriters of songs with the Gen Alpha melody made a conscious decision to steal or interpolate, but
subconscious
rather just
thing.
fiddled around with the melody to a very common chord progression
Our heart
and
calls out
subconsciously
to
heard
it.
what sounds
It calls
good from
out
the
to the
past
Gen
listening
Alpha melody.
experiences. Okay, so everybody's copying everybody, and they are basically doing an interpolation of this melody. That's fine. But who made the melody? Who gets the money? Clairo is a name that pops up a lot because Sophia was such a big hit, and most of the examples of the Gen Alpha melody come from 2020 and onwards. She's also a very respected artist, so nobody really sees her as unoriginal. But she didn't write the melody, because I can find several other examples from before 2019 with the exact same melody. All the cases from the 2010s lead back to Lady Gaga, which I mentioned used a variation of the Gen Alpha melody. But this is still not the
Patient
bottom of this
Zero.
rabbit hole.
Just kidding, not
Because through
Patient
this
Zero.
extensive research, all clues lead back to one person and a song released in 2004, which is the oldest use of this melody I could find.
Oh shit! Anastasia! Anastasia was Patient Zero all along! Imagine if this was all,
And
this
just on
was
an
all
ending note, there's this obscure
ploy
scout band
just
who
to
used it, but they probably didn't
announce your
influence anybody.
Anastasia fan page. Yes, guys, this was all a plot to prove that Anastasia is the greatest of all time.